do it.
Welcome to Adults Talking Anime Plus. My name is Thor.
And I'm Inga.
And we're your anime siblings.
What up?
Exactly. That's how you should do it. Yeah. Whenever the roles are switched, you say what up.
What up? We're back. Yeah, I have bangs now, guys. I just wanted to address the elephant in the room. I have bangs. Please tell me you like them. So far, nobody seems to like them. But I do. So, be nice. Anyway.
I've been watching a lot of anime.
Hell yeah.
Lots of anime.
Yes. Tell me.
Some of the names.
Sure.
Obviously,
names would be good.
The list of ones that I'm definitely keeping up with are
yes.
My Hero Academia.
Mm-hmm.
So far, dub only. Mm-hmm. But I am waiting. Basically, I just want to make sure I have that 3-episode buffer in case something insane happens and I need to immediately catch up.
That's smart.
I keep not knowing how to watch the newest Attack on Titan.
What do you
feel
mean?
like it keeps getting advertised some places, but then the one episode that's on Crunchyroll looks like a special, and I don't really watch specials until I do exclusively watch specials.
I was just curious if this was going to be a firm stance like on anime movies.
It could be, and it could be not.
I feel like people are already watching Attack on Titan, though.
Do you want to know what I feel most bad about, though?
What?
When I made a tweet that said, now everything gets a movie about Kaguya-sama getting a movie.
Yeah.
And then I went and rewatched the second season. Actually, I think I only watched one episode before, and then I stopped watching it thinking, oh, second season of an anime, this one went right down the tube. No, very funny. Keep watching it. Kaguya-sama is a hilarious show. Now I've watched season 2 and season 3, and they're great.
And now you want to watch the movie?
Yeah, now I will watch the movie. I'm stoked. I'm all about watching the anime movie.
Speaking of movies, though, so you know that there is a Demon Slayer 2 movie coming out, but it's basically a recapping of what we just watched.
Insane.
And so a lot of people, it actually has been getting terrible reviews.
Perfect.
Yeah. So now people are starting to feel the pinch of what we originally said, where we don't agree with the idea of anime movies being just recapping of seasons. If that's going to be the season, I think that would be okay. If it's like a storyline that feels like it needs a season or like it needs a movie as opposed to like a season.
That's interesting to me because honestly, I do love running to anime fights.
Yeah.
And it is really frustrating because those last couple of episodes in that season with Tengen and like there's so many. There's like arcs within that fight. Mm-hmm. There's Tanjiro versus the lady.
I think it's Maki. I think maybe I don't know. We're bad with names.
So there's Tanjiro against her.
Yeah.
Then you've got Nezuko versus her.
Yeah.
Then you've got well, I guess you have the earlier one with Zenitsu and Boar guy. Can't remember his name.
Oh, Inosuke.
Inosuke, yeah. So Inosuke, and they also fight, but it has so many. There's multiple episodes, so you just have to, if you're going to run to one to get like really amped up, you have to pick your favorite one, and naturally, it's right when it's the finale when everybody's involved, and Zenitsu's doing godlike speed, and he can only do it twice.
I know,
and he used it once to get out of the rubble. It's now or never, and you're like, go! Oh my gosh, yeah, that whole thing is great.
I love it. But so then, you know what? It's funny, as you were just saying that in my head, I was like, you know what? Maybe if I wanted to do like I like to rewatch animes more so than I guess I'd like to admit, where I will just start from the beginning again for no reason.
Yeah.
Just because it's kind of fun. And, you know, sometimes you need a refresher on what's happened. But now with you saying that, it kind of makes me go, you know, maybe I'll just watch that movie.
Yeah.
Because it's all linked together.
It's great.
And then they add a couple of scenes that they didn't necessarily put in.
Had I known it was the option Haikyuu, I probably would have watched that movie instead of the episodes of all of the training stuff, because they definitely have that for Haikyuu.
Yeah, they do. I would love to see a season 3 dub of Haikyuu. What's up, guys?
They're going to the top.
What just happened? We were almost at the top.
I was ready to see to the top.
We were almost there.
I don't want to, because again, when you're getting amped up, you need it in your native tongue.
Yeah.
That's really it. I can't read subtitles and get it as amped up. Although that's not really true because Blue Lock
is...
I've been watching that while running, and it makes my 21 minutes go so fast.
Do you run faster?
No. So that's the other thing. I try to control the energy. I do get amped, but because I'm training for a marathon or half marathon, then it's all about making sure that you keep up the same pace.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is
a
discipline in its own.
It's very hard because there are moments I'm not doing anything when I watch Blue Lock, and it makes me want to do something.
You should be.
Maybe.
That's why you
lift
get on
weights?
That Peloton. I think it'd be hard to lift weights and watch subtitles.
That's true. No, not possible.
But on a treadmill, treadmills are like designed for watching TV at the same time. Yeah, it's perfect.
I think when I did do the treadmill, I did enjoy watching episodes of things. Like I might have like it's actually crazy, still subtitles if you think about it, because at a gym, unless it's your own personal gym, you can't be watching TV with sound. Yeah. So you are actually still reading. It's in English, but I would still have music, but like have an episode of Friends or something going. Yeah. But then at least I knew by the time the episode of Friends was done, I'd already walked, ran for
cardio and TV mix so well.
20 seconds or whatever.
It's so good.
Or 20 seconds. Yeah, that 20-second TV show.
What are you watching? Just like TikTok. A portion of the opening song?
Yeah. There's a bunch of like really small reels of TV shows.
You're like, I hop on the treadmill and I'm like, I can't remember any of the Friends song. Basically, you hear the claps and you're like, and that's it. I'm done.
I did it.
Done for my cardio.
That was intense, and I rocked and rolled. It was amazing.
We're not exercise nuts, but we're getting older.
Hey,
and
guys.
You have to keep exercising to stay. It's
useful.
Just to do anything.
Honestly, I think the more I think about it, this is a workout
even
podcast.
Thinking about it is one of the most beneficial things you can do. Just thinking about the exercise.
Think about exercise.
Rewarding. Doing the exercise. Soul crushing, very rewarding.
Did you watch though? I think it was called Dumbbells, or it was the weightlifting. I
watched some episodes. I didn't keep going.
It's actually very funny. It's super dumb. It's definitely a dumb anime, but it's pretty funny because like the trainer is just a dummy. He's like a himbo, and it's very funny. And he's also a cosplayer, which is also very fun. Or he did just cosplay because the whole thing's very funny. And like at the end of the episode, you know how they have those like mini like this is the end of the episode. Let's do a quick like something. They give you some real workout tips.
Hilarious.
It's pretty good. If you're just bored. Maybe it's not called Dumbbells, but if you're just bored, watch that workout anime. Yeah. It might make you want to work out. Do a couple squats at the end of the show. Join in.
I've been on the search to find your Shojo.
Ooh, what did you find me?
I think you'll like the ice guy and his cool female colleague.
I did like the premise when I read it.
Yeah, so it's just...
Tell us about it.
It's the ice guy. So this is a world where you're living with a bunch of other people who are like half demons, or not half demons, but they're related to things. So he's related to a snow woman.
Oh, okay.
So he's the descendant of a snow woman, so he has ice powers. Yeah. So him and his sister, when they get like emotionally, either any sort of like if they. Really what happens to him is every time he has a cute moment with his cool female colleague who she's a human, it'll start snowing or little snowmen will pop up. And that's kind of like his reaction to things when he gets excited. Yeah. So if he blushes, those things happen. And one of their other office workers was a descendant of a fox.
Okay.
And so when she gets excited, her ears pop out and her tail wags. And so there's another guy who has a crush on her. There's somebody who's a phoenix.
Oh, wow.
And he's got this he works in the sales department at the company. And they're all like, they work in an office. They are all just office workers.
The best setting of a anything.
Yeah, so they just work at the office together, and he was nervous about his first day, so he froze his legs in place, and she was meeting him on the way, and she's like, do you want some hot tea? And he was like, that'd be great. And so he calmed down, and then they found out that they worked in the same department together.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how that whole thing started. But it's all very... Like, they're kind of dancing around figuring out that they have a crush on each other. Yeah. They're finding out things about the other person and thinking about them.
Yeah.
Like, one day was about them. They wanted to try the special drink at Starbucks.
Sure, Starbucks.
And so but Starbucks always has a massive line. So they're like, it is so crowded, but I'd love to try this specialty drink at some point. And then when they were both going out on one of their things, they saw an opportunity and they're like, oh, there's no line here, so let me get this specialty drink. And then they brought it back, and they both brought it back, so they had 8 drinks because it was supposed to be for 4 of them because they're coworkers. And then they ended up with 8, So they got their boss. They gave their boss one, and the other people from the other departments. It's like that type of thing where you're like,
so cute.
What a hilarious thought that we both thought about. And she's like, how in sync are we? And he's like, we're in sync. And then naturally, the fox. Every time it gets really snowy, she starts laughing because it's like a gust of wind, and she's like, so she has a ball. The two humans are like, it is very cold.
That's so funny. Oh, that's cute. I definitely think I'm gonna give that a watch.
And also the song. Yeah, I think there is. Oh man, yeah. Now the opening song, you're like, this is a bop.
Ooh, I love a good bop.
Bop, bop. You haven't heard it.
No, I haven't heard it.
So whenever I just make two sounds, you won't know what those go to. But I really did hit it. Yeah, I did.
So if you knew what the theme song sounded like, let us know if you nailed it.
And I did the two bombs, but there's three in that open.
Whoa.
And then Vinland Saga 2, I've been running on.
Yeah.
What did you think Vinland Saga was about?
What did I originally tell you that I thought it was about?
Space?
I think I thought it was about space.
Yeah.
And mechs, maybe? I think I thought maybe there was some mechs.
And then you were like, oh, it makes sense because
Vinland
it's Viking
Saga,
land.
Viking land.
Yeah.
And you're like,
none of it's true.
Not really any of the things. Everybody keeps saying it's good, though. But I feel like, do I have to watch Vinland 1? Saga 1?
Yes, you 100%.
Yeah,
this isn't one where you just jump into the second season because it does involve the main characters from the first season.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
okay.
I also didn't realize that Vinland was going to be like this, but it almost feels like if you like any of those Viking shows on Netflix.
I do.
With those actual the people playing, it is the story is as if you could take the cool arcs from there and just you put it into an anime. They made an anime version of all of those Viking related TV shows that people have been watching recently.
Oh, that's so okay. Well, that puts me more on board again. Then I think I will definitely. I have too many animes I have to watch.
Yeah,
I am. Yeah, because I'm a couple episodes behind in of My Hero, which I definitely I'm like still very hyped on. I just
it's about to pick up again. You're at a good pause because you're in the hospital, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is a very, very good pause.
Great.
But that
was the most. I wish I could have just showed you what happened because that was insane.
I don't even know how I'll ever financially recover from this.
I'll never financially recover.
Why couldn't you just put it down?
That was stupid. Great. Cool. Anyway, so like Viking TV shows, dope. I think I do like those Viking TV shows. Yeah. I just have to, right now, I feel like my life has been dramatic. So I've kind of gone and fallen back on watching things I already know the plot to.
Yeah.
And that things that are, the comfort animes, the things that make you're like, I can have this on in the background because I don't care about what is happening. And my brain can just kind of do the other things, the adult portion of being an adult who watches anime. I saw a TikTok that I think I'm actually going to respond to about a girl being like, oh my God, are we adults who are like actually watching anime? And I think it would just be really funny to be like, not only are we adults watching anime, we're adults talking about it.
Yeah.
And which I just think would be a great fun plug for the show.
I think plenty of people are.
More people are than not. So not to bring it back to the gym, but apparently the trainer that I'm working out with loves anime too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he has named, and he's actually about my age. Well, he is my age. And he was just naming off animes that I hadn't even seen. It's very embarrassing to be like, oh, I've watched a lot of anime. I watched a lot of anime, but it's, guys, there is a lot of anime out there, though.
Yeah.
And you also have to remember, we all like different genres of anime. So you start naming, like, I didn't get into shonen animes until kind of later, even though I've always really enjoyed Bleach for, like, since almost the beginning. I didn't get into Naruto till only a couple of years ago. I love Jujutsu Kaisen. I love Demon Slayer now. But I think the beginning of my anime journey was all like Shojos. Like, I loved Special A. I mean, Inuyasha's that crossover, but it was like my gateway anime. I loved Maid Wakasama. These were like the thing. I kept trying to find things that were very similar to Inuyasha when I first started watching anime. Yeah. Just because that's what I thought I liked.
It makes sense.
Even though I also watched Samurai Champloo, and then I only just recently watched Cowboy Bebop, and I liked it.
You know what? There really aren't that many like Pixie Girl and Pixie Man type of animes now.
What are you talking about? Like Magical Girl?
No, like, so, Pixie Girl was that thing from Garden State where Natalie Portman's like this girl that doesn't really exist.
Manic Pixie Dream Girl?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But then I realize that the anime version of that definitely is Maid Wakasama because that guy doesn't exist.
Oh, I know.
The guy who just like sees somebody and then immediately is like, oh, everything is about making this person happy. And then they'll deal with them.
I love him.
And they'll deal with them, actively fight against this over and over and be that's not what you really mean.
Oh, yeah.
And be able to see through like all the frustrating things.
Even though that's that is literally every shoujo or if it's that type where it's like the girl.
But I'm noticing less and less of those is what I'm saying. Early, in the 2000s, it really felt like everybody there is this right person who is a manic pixie dream person.
Yeah. Ooh, interesting. I wouldn't have even thought about it that way. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. Even though I just watched something with a very similar... even though, you know what? It's an old anime. It's Kimi no Tori, which is on Netflix.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It's so good.
In the 2000s, there was a bunch of... And it's not just for anime, but I feel like that was a definite thing from like mid 2000 to 2011. Right now, you don't really... I think a lot of more relationships are way more grounded, and I think it's very more popular to talk about problems in relationships and how people are overcoming problems.
Sure.
Or how hesitant people are to actually change the dynamic of their relationship, where it's tough to make that leap when you become friends with somebody and then you don't want to mess up that friendship.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of things that are targeting those moments.
Interesting. You know what it is? I thought I was an anime, but it's a webtoon. I've been reading a bunch of webtoons that still follow that similar trope.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And maybe some K-dramas. Maybe that's what's popping in my head too, where it's either, it can go either direction, where it's either the girl really likes the guy and the guy's like, no, thank you. Yeah. But he actually does secretly like her, or they secretly like each other, but they won't tell each other that they like each other. It seems to be a very like common trope, especially in like
about breaking the friends zone, whatever the dynamic of their friendship is, because Kaguya-sama, same thing, but what makes it really funny is that they're talking about just the way the world is right now. Yeah. And I feel like
they know that they both like each other, but they're literally just waiting for one person to like cave.
Because putting yourself out there is the thing that people don't like doing.
Yeah.
And especially because as much as you can be sure, you also don't.
That's true. You're also still not sure.
They have this one episode, Inga, that will make you crack up.
Yeah.
It's about when she goes from her flip phone to a smartphone.
Yeah.
And she downloads Line. And so initially she reads a text message and has no clue that Line automatically sends read receipts. And so when she's looking at his text message and she's been staring at it for hours, and she's like, oh, I'm not going to answer it. I'm just going to act like I'm doing things. And Hayasaka is the name of her
friend,
her Butler friend. Yeah. And she goes, my lady, you did not read that and open the message. She goes, yeah, I did immediately. And she goes, an immediate read receipt?
She's like, he's no.
And you're going to tell him that you didn't get a chance to read it? And they're...
Oh, my God. I have to... I actually kind of restarted Kaguya-sama the other day because it was... Since we share like a... Sorry, Crunchyroll, we share our password, whatever.
It's got to be done.
I can't afford... In this economy, the $7...
The Adults Talking Anime Plus is not an official business. We do not have the ability to write things off. Otherwise...
Yet.
Yeah. If we get any of that net income...
I've learned about LLCs and I've learned about liens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mutually exclusive.
First things first, $1,000 for an LLC. We are financially going in the hole.
How do you run a podcast? First off, start off by going negative.
Any business.
And don't foresee money anytime soon.
All businesses don't make money until 3 years in. You're like, that can't be true. None of them?
0% of businesses make money 0% of the time. That's a true statistic. Chat GPT it.
Yeah.
Check that out.
It's really, really funny, but I feel like that's kind of like our time frame where it's just, are we comfortable with this dynamic and do we want to risk changing it?
Did you watch Snow White with the red hair?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I love it. So I would probably consider this like closer to like an Inuyasha in the sense that there is a lot of action.
Yeah.
But there is also like sort of an underlying love story, or maybe everybody kind of puts that love story it is
the people.
It is written into it though, for sure. So it is actually very much like Inuyasha, and there's two characters. So there's two male characters and the one female, and the female is like obsessed and in love with this one guy who, wants to become the prince or the king because she's a princess, but then and he's like the cousin of somebody. So he won't become the king unless he was to marry the princess. But for some reason, her father's very much like, don't marry him. You can't marry him. Even though she's like, I love him, daddy. And she has like her main knight, or he's like the king's knight, but it's a childhood friend who all three of them are friends. And he's very like loyal to the king because he feels like the king saved him. But he's about the same age as the princess and the cousin.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody loves him. His name is Hawk, and he's amazing. And he's voiced by, of course, I can't think of his name, but the same voice as All Might, one of my favorite voice actors, whose name I can't remember. That's how much I enjoy
Chris
him.
Sabat?
Yes, Chris Sabat.
I'm starting to learn him too. And I don't know Ida's voice, but every time I see Ida is a freaking working man.
He's busy.
That voice actor is in everything.
I can't think of his name also, but he's in you'll know his voice when you hear it, but I always recognize him from the twins from Orin High School. He's one of the twins.
Yeah.
But then when you hear it, he's like that higher pitched younger guy voice, and he's in everything.
I gotta get my voice out there.
He's in everything.
You don't think my voice is an anime voice?
Your voice anything can be an anime voice.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
And kids, so if you wanted some inspiration from this podcast, here it is. Any voice can be an anime voice.
Well, people always are like, I have to have a specific voice. Now, will you do better if you can make your voice sound different? Absolutely. But if not, you can still not make a lot of money, but you can still do voice acting with your own actual voice.
Wow.
There it is.
That's inspiring.
That's some free advice for you guys. I'd normally charge for that.
I'm also curious that there hasn't been one since, like, an anime about voice acting.
You know what somebody tried to get me to watch? It's called DIY. It's the DIY anime. And it's about a girl who's learning how to DIY.
That's great.
I think I have to watch it.
Yeah, that anime would be funny.
Because if you guys didn't know, I'm also obsessed with DIY.
Because you know the one I'm talking about, or the manga creators.
Yes. Oh, I love that
anime.
one. That one's super good.
And their friend wants to be a voice actress.
Yes.
And so when they do get the anime, they try to get her in it too.
I mean, it didn't come to that conclusion, I'm assuming.
I think it did. I think they got her in it.
I want to go back and watch it. It'd be helpful
I think they ended up happily ever after.
Maybe.
Or they all died.
Either or, no in between. There's no in between. I do love those. I do like the animes that are about specific. Hold on. This statement was about to be super dumb.
Finish the statement and say it all the way through. And double down on it.
I do like it when animes are about specific things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
Specific things.
It's true, though. Because now that anime is getting very specific.
It's getting really specific.
Like, do you want to be the number one racquetballer in the world? Bet you there's probably going to be an anime soon.
I'm sure there is. It's, anime. And I mean, look at it. Half the romance ones are taking place in offices.
It is true. It is great. So the reason I was really hopeful. So I've watched a handful of anime that I could not really get past the first episode. Most recent being Death March, Parallel Universe Rhapsody.
Whoa.
Another one with a crazy name.
Super crazy.
And he was a 30-year-old programmer.
Oh, bummer. So he's 30.
Yeah,
okay.
I know. It's like, perfect. Love when people are older.
Yeah.
So he's like a 30-year-old programmer, and the death march is whenever they have to fix bugs by a certain due date. People are working at the office, sleeping there, waking up, and doing like another 30 hours.
Whoa, okay. Yeah.
And so that's what the death march is. Doesn't happen all the time. And one day he wakes up and he's in a video game. When he's in the video game, a meteor shower strike. Like he's a horde of lizard army men who are very, very high level. He's a level 1, they're level 50. He's like, oh no, I'm screwed. And there's like a horde of them. He's like, I just started dreaming, and now I'm going to die in my own dream. This sucks. Funny. This game is so buggy. And then meteors come down and kills everybody, and he goes from level 1 to level 312. And so so the premise is he's now this like super strong person. He's walking through. It didn't hook me from the fact of I was looking for something with probably that was a little bit more deeper. This one definitely seems pretty lighthearted.
Oh, okay. So it could be something that if you're not really...
I think it's a casual watch.
Yeah.
I think it's one that I'm not gonna... I don't think I'm gonna put it down for forever.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have to be in a mood for a certain video game isekai where the main character is overpowered.
Yeah, it's crazy that I mean, I don't know if I just had more time or I don't know, I didn't have more time, but I've been reading a lot more this week instead of just like watching. I think I just needed I don't know.
Sometimes you need a break.
Sometimes I wanted to engage my brain in a different way. So I figured reading, or maybe I wanted something I could actually, that's what it really was. Sometimes with TV, you can allow yourself to get distracted and do other things.
True.
But when you're reading, that is kind of the only thing you can do. Because if you're not reading, you're doing nothing.
Yeah.
You're just holding a book or your phone.
You ever just hold a book?
You just hold your phone and do nothing. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so I've been kind of more like focused. I caught up on a bunch of the Webtoons I'd been reading, and some of them are just getting good. Some of them are getting good.
Yeah.
They're trying to get all my money. They want my money, and I want to give it to them. But the thing that's even more annoying is that some of them are only like, I could give them all my money, but they're not done. It's not like, here's all the money and you can finish this story. It's like, this is ongoing and it is not done.
Yeah, you just get to catch up and then wait a full month.
And then you have to like, oh good, I have to wait like 2 months now because if you
want it to be free again, that's you can't pay coins for ongoing stuff unless it's Tower of God, because you never know when the hiatus is coming. So in which case you pay and you catch up to where the hiatus is, and it's like, oh, you're just waiting like everyone else.
Sure. I'm glad that anime is coming back. I'm kind of excited.
It's crazy that it's not just ongoing.
The anime?
Yeah.
Just like they should just be doing it.
There's 512. There's so many chapters, and the chapters are so long. Each chapter, I feel like, is 8 minutes of animation.
Yeah.
Which you only get 2 chapters per episode.
That's true.
2 to 3 chapters per episode. They have so much that even if they were to release weekly.
Yeah.
And this is me doing the math on top of my head and incorrectly. Okay.
Perfect.
2
Love
things.
It. Yes.
One, I'm not sure if this is the total number of chapters.
Tell me anyway.
I think it's 512.
Okay.
You divide 512 by 3, that equals 100 and something.
Sure.
Which means you have 100 and something episodes of an anime.
Yeah. Naturally.
And that's 2 years.
Pretty much. If they
of weekly releases, that's 2 years of actually probably 3 years of weekly releases.
No breaks.
And obviously there's going to be breaks for holidays. So that's 3 years minimum that they could, if they just kept animating it. But they're going to keep releasing 12 to 26 episodes at a time.
That anime will never finish.
It'll be over when I'm 90. Adults will be senior citizens talking Tower of God.
That's the new... Wait for that one.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
Senior citizens talking Tower of God.
Just wait about 10 years and we're doing it.
Because it's not over.
Yeah. Isn't that... I don't know. Okay. Now I think I'm going to have a gripe with this Webtoon society and whatnot. And I mean, maybe this is where you can even batch in One Piece with this. It's not over, right? Like, I don't know. I like to read a book and I like to know the end.
Okay.
But with Webtoons and whatnot, sometimes the more popular they become, like I think the author in their mind, for the most part, has an idea of how the story will end.
Sure.
Right? And I'm assuming, like, let's just take the author of My Hero, for example, because I'm pretty confident he has said several times, I know how My Hero ends.
Well, this is either the second to last season.
Okay. But I'm just saying, like, even earlier on, like, there is an end to this story. Like, it is not an ongoing, like, even though My Hero was wildly, wildly popular.
Well, from Jump, though, like, the very first intro to My Hero is about how Midoriya becomes the strongest.
Yeah, this is my story on how I become the number one hero.
Yeah.
Okay. But okay, the story of how I become the number one hero could literally drag on for years. Like, they could painstakingly go through first year, second year, third year, fourth year, college, hero college.
Okay. I don't know.
Apprenticeship.
Okay.
And then promoted to real hero.
I don't know. I know what point you're going with.
And then
I want to be on board. I do want to be on board. I want to support you fully, but okay. Come on, buddy.
But then right off the bat, he becomes the number one hero. I mean, they did annihilate so many people.
They said the closest person to All Might was Lemillion, so it was already setting up a couple of things about how quickly heroes can become the number one hero.
Number one, okay.
So they set up things in a they set up things, but it all depends on certain. So you got to think about. My Hero was telling a story about how one person became the number one hero.
Yes.
Versus
One Piece.
One Piece is just, yes, it's about them finding the One Piece.
Yes.
But that's not about Luffy becoming
the Pirate King.
Just the Pirate King. It's more about them discovering the world. Like, the premise is this is an adventure manga. So like you can do as many adventures as you want.
Yeah, constant adventures.
We keep learning about the world.
Yes.
And not necessarily. Because at this point, does what the treasure is matter? Or just, as much as how all of the adventures that they're going on and how he
want to be the Pirate King, though.
Yeah, okay. And he's going to be the number one pirate in the world. Yes. But the whole premise of the show is it's not Luffy, it's them getting the One Piece.
Yes.
If you find the One Piece, then you have all the rights to all my treasure. So it's like not only is Luffy trying to do it, but other people are also trying to do it.
And we're involved with his crew. So it's really not just, it's kind of like we've been introduced to all of their dreams.
Yeah.
So at the same time, by them working together, we're rooting for Zoro to be the number one swordsman in the world.
Yes.
We're rooting for Nami. Nami has to sail all of the oceans.
To map it out,
To map out the whole world. Chopper just wants to be the best doctor. I don't know if that's his drive. His drive is just to heal people and help people. I don't know what Usopp's ultimate goal is.
No one does.
And we know, but we do. Sanji is to cook all types of food.
He wants to go to the All Blue.
From all over the...
Incidentally, we found it.
Yeah, he did it. So Sanji's goal
I found the All Blue.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah, and on Earth, there's that that underground waterfall.
Yeah.
Look it up on Google. That's the All Blue.
And there it is. The One Piece.
I found it. And in fact, if the One Piece is near there, I'm going to be the Pirate King.
Well, if you go, take a picture and say you're the Pirate King.
Yeah. I'm telling you, though, that really might be the thing I want to do next year. Because I need to see the All Blue as soon as possible.
ASAP, baby. That's funny.
I think I sent you the picture.
I did. I was nuts. But then somebody was like, this is Photoshopped. I'm like, is it, though? I don't know.
So what I want to piggyback that off of, though, is the issue with Sword Art Online is that they didn't keep exploring the world. I think that virtual world where they kept going through the levels could have gone for such a long period of time. That's why they're able to go back and do movies.
Yes, because we have stuff we have no idea
that initial
happened.
World was so good. Yeah, and they were ripping through levels.
So the problem with Sword Art is the romantic side that they decided to go
that the person knew the ending.
Yes,
and then they brought us to the ending.
Oh,
that's what I think the issue was.
Interesting.
Is that they knew the ending. And we got to the ending halfway through.
Oh, and then we had those dumbass extra things.
Well, then they had to tell another story because it was a massive success and people love the characters.
Yes.
But instead of building the characters and learning about them in different environments in their own world, they now had to create other worlds and other random forced emergencies.
Yes.
Without having a real clever way to do it. And also the stakes not being as high.
Yeah, but also altering Asuna's character too. Like it was kind of a nightmare what they did to her. She was really fun in the beginning. They
needed a way to do that, and they also needed a way to make it an emergency.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
Plots.
in the other one, in Altheme Online, it didn't matter if they died.
Yeah.
There was no stakes because they just got respawned.
What did you call that anime?
It's their second one, the Alfheim.
I thought you were talking about Elfian Lead.
No,
I don't even know if that's how you said that.
Sword Art went to where they could fly. They had wings in the second one.
I remember that. Yeah, but when they all became pixies, apparently
everybody could respawn, and there was no problem with it, except for Asuna, who was legitimately stuck in the game, and that's why she was a prisoner over there.
Yes,
and then they had to make his cousin. They had to introduce another female character, and they're like, I guess the cousin makes sense. Yeah. So let's just go for it.
But she's like all secretly in love with Kirito also. It's the cousin thing. Guys, stop making family members be in love with each other.
Yeah.
There is familiar love. It's okay. You can love your family member without wanting to boink your family member.
And I'm pretty sure she doesn't want to.
I don't know. There's always that weird. I'm pretty sure
she doesn't want to. I'm gonna give her benefit of the doubt. Bennies,
those old bennies. I mean, I guess, okay, I agree. Sometimes I just feel like maybe more so in Webtoons than anything else. Maybe not, especially because it's just random people who are creating Webtoons, not as structured as like, the mangakas who have like deadlines and I think at some point they could be like, no. There is an ending to Bleach. This is it.
Yeah. Like, Bleach does have an ending.
I know. That's what I'm just saying. But like, you can't just keep, no, but Bleach is doing so good. Keep it going. He's like, no.
I agree. I think a portion of it is when money starts getting paid, then the temptation of just continuing things keeps going.
Yeah.
Just like anything else. And then I think what happens with Webtoons is that sometimes Webtoons, they don't realize that. I think they're just trying to create their cool story and seeing if people like it.
Yeah. So. I think that's tough when you kind of go in without, you're like, I got the beginning and the middle of a story, but you don't necessarily know the end. And then you're reading comments, and then you're getting money, and then you're getting
to pander. And
all of a sudden you're just like, wait, now you've like deviated from the original, like your original intent for the story. That's all I kind of find that to be with Webtoons, where sometimes you're like, this feels like it should be wrapping up, but there's no end. I think the one that kind of annoyed me was Girls of Wilds. That
one ended.
I know it did end, but there was like a portion where it felt like it had a few endings.
Yeah.
Where like it could have ended here and it was pretty good. And it could have ended here and that was okay. And then we all the way get to the ending and we're like, okay, I guess that's the ending, I
like Girls of the Wild.
No, I do too. I still think I think I'm annoyed that, everybody's talking about girl power and how there's no, strong female characters, blah, blah, blah. That is a fight school basically for women, or at least the top.
It is true. And the guy's not the strong. He just gets trained by the top 3 girls at that school. Like,
the women who are the strong, like the women are the strongest in the school. Oh, I think because it's literally a girls fight school, and he gets a scholar. Oh yeah, that's the whole premise. He gets a scholarship because they want to start introducing men into the school. That's why he gets strong. To go.
He's academically smart.
Yes. And he was like, ooh, free school.
And he's not the smartest at the school.
No,
either.
not even. He's just, his big thing is he's just a guy amongst all these like, unhumanly strong, unhumanly strong women. So,
but they all have different disciplines too.
Yes. There's a boxer. There's a kendo fighter.
Yeah.
They think of any sort of fighting sport, and there is probably somebody who is the top of it.
Yeah.
And then they all fight each other.
It is true.
To see who is the strongest. Kind of like God of High School.
It seems like a sport.
Not.
Yeah, because it doesn't really seem to matter to the school.
No.
The more I think about it, I think they all were just going to school and these were basically their clubs. Like their clubs of choice were fighting.
Maybe. I felt like because there are other schools that had strong fighting clubs too, and because eventually they all have to fight each other. There was a lot of fights,
but it wasn't about that though. At the same point,
there was a lot of fights in this webtoon. It's good. It is
very good.
But there was a lot of fights.
When they graduated, the big thing at the very end is just whether or not he's going to be with Queen.
I know.
And she's going off to run a conglomerate.
She was, but she's like hiding. I don't know. I don't know.
She was just going to run her family business. Yeah,
her family's business. It was a little, I don't know, somewhat predictable, a little I don't know.
Well, eventually you have to get to it because I mean, she was into him, but I mean, she is way overqualified to be with him.
That's true. He was definitely he was hitting that old
like everybody who questioned
jackpot.
Why she would pick him, it made sense because it's like
you're like he really has nothing to offer.
Not very much, no.
Except for like
tries his best.
Yeah, her family wasn't the best to her. But even though they were kind of fine,
I think they were fine. I think they just ran a business.
What was her deal then? She was a weirdo.
No, she just had tons of... I think a person who has tons of money and a lot of talent can exist. And it can be like, man, I look at people all the time. It's not right when there's somebody who's a professional athlete and good looking. It kind of pisses me off.
Interesting. Like, too many things.
One or the other. Come on.
That's so like this funny.
All of them. They got all of them.
I mean,
they got all the money. They got the looks, and they got and they're great. Very funny too. Who cares? Oh, great. Well, oh, wonderful business acumen. Awesome. Oh. But
boring.
Also, it's like I can't help but like them as well.
You're like, man, I wish we were best friends.
Only we were best friends because they seem like great people.
Seem like a nice person.
It's a little unfair. But those people exist.
They do. I know. I know people that I'm just like, oh man, and you're really nice. Great.
Yeah.
I want to hate you, but I cannot. I'm also going to be your best friend. We're best friends.
Yeah, those people exist for sure.
We've all become best friends
And I think when you look at it, you're like, oh. And then who they choose to be with, you're like, that's who they choose?
I know. It's really? A lot of times you are like, whoa, okay. I mean, live your life. It's your life. Do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy.
And that's what I'm saying. Queen, do what you want.
If that makes you happy, great. I don't know, because she was all attached to his siblings, too. She loved his siblings.
Yeah, she just got to know their family.
I think there is some form of, like, isolationism and the fact that she liked that he led this very normal life.
But I think that can happen to people, right?
It's fun. I guess so. But I love that her brother then just, like, bought a whole building so that he wouldn't have to.
It's so funny.
The brother becomes, at first, he's like, no. And then he's like, actually, you're going to be my brother.
I forgot
there's
her little brother.
Her little brother's
brother he made moves.
Yeah, and remember, she actually wasn't going to get to run the business. She was only going to run the business until her brother got old enough because he's the male.
Yeah, but did he want to?
Maybe not. I think she was also trying to protect her brother in the sense that she wanted to have him like.
He had a funny relationship with a worker too, right? With the butler person.
His butler,
yeah. I think butler relationships are very funny.
It makes you wish, like, man, why didn't I have a butler?
Yeah, or at least somebody who said things were elegant. Spy Family. Anybody who can determine elegance is very, very funny to me, and things that are proper.
That's so funny. Oh, I love it. Well, yeah. So I've been doing a lot of reading. Make Girls of the Wilds an anime. Somebody, that'd be great. It's a good one.
Another show I probably won't continue.
Oh, tell me more.
Was called Life with an Ordinary Guy Who Reincarnated into a Total Fantasy Knockout. Probably won't keep watching it.
Oh, that sounds something that I would watch, though.
You probably might like it.
Yeah.
Because it is two 32-year-old dudes. Yeah. One of them is a good-looking guy. Yeah. And his best friend, who is pretty overly protective and not really, like, he just hasn't found a girl that he's really interested in. Yeah. And a completely average guy who kept taking his best friend to mixers because he's like, I want to get this dude married because all the girls like him. Every time we hang out, they all like him. Yeah. So hopefully he'll settle down and get with someone. And then he's like, we're 32 now, though. We're now 32. Why aren't you married?
That's so funny. Oh, no.
And so they get hammered one night. Mm-hmm. And they're walking home. He gets in this total tantrum of like, you know what? At this point, I wish I was a girl, and I wish I was a freaking babe. And he describes his dream girl. Yeah. And then they get transported into another world where their desires are filled. And the guy who looks really good just wants to hang out with his friend. Yeah. And then he gets turned into a girl. And his own dream girl, and then they open up the scene where they're kind of talking about the situation. Yeah. And he's like, why are you so cool? But I'm not into you because I'm a dude. He's like, there is no romantic tension here.
That's so funny. So I wonder, are they supposed to end up together?
I have no clue.
You're like, I don't know where this is going.
Yeah. I was just like, I don't I'm not going to keep, I'm like, I'm going to let this one end.
That's so funny. That's
It is funny, but I think I'm searching for something that is like actiony.
Yeah.
So that way I can watch it on runs.
Ah, interesting.
Even Vinland Saga is not really great on the runs, but
did you try rewatching Chainsaw Man? I was just talking about it a lot to Ryan the other day because I'm like, actually, I really think you'd love Chainsaw Man. I was like, at first I was like, maybe not, but you know, David likes The Dark Knight
and the soundtrack is so good. I do like that song. Chainsaw Man Lo-Fi is amazing.
Ooh, well, there's that OST, which I talked briefly about for a second, is very, very good. Anytime like something is about to happen, it's with like character emotion or something. This one song keeps playing, and it is good.
I like it when it's no character emotion and just something cool. Well, because then it's like dunk doo 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 dunk 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 dunk.
Oh yeah. Well, that's yes. Nice. You'll know what. I'll attach it somewhere. I'll just put it on the Twitter randomly, and everybody will be like, "What's this about?" That's what this is about. Yeah, it's very good. I was just telling him though. I was like, man, because it has less like. I mean, it's anime, obviously, but kind of not all at the same time. So it gives you that like movie-ish feel. You know, even though like a man is turning into a chainsaw, a man is gunhead. They're, all the different like crazy, like mundane devils, but that are things that people are supposed to, technically fear.
Yeah.
Is what the villains are. And the more that they fear it, the bigger that villain becomes. That's why like Gunhead is that episode was so crazy.
Yeah.
I know we really lumped Chainsaw Man, but that episode where Aki sends his brother back into the house, he's like, just, go back and see mom and dad or grab something and we'll do whatever. And then the house is just annihilated.
Yeah.
And he's just standing outside like he didn't get killed because he didn't go inside.
Yeah.
But like, that is crazy. Of course you'd be like, vengeance is mine.
Yeah.
Even if you're probably going to die. And I don't even think I'm emotionally prepared for what's going to happen. I've fallen into some spoilers. I won't tell you any of them.
Great.
But I don't think I'm necessarily emotionally even ready for what is going to go down in this show.
It's also very cool to kill main characters now.
No, it's not.
No, I'm just
you
saying
mean just like in general?
Yeah, that's
it's like
the thing.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
But it adds stakes to stuff. I think we've been living a literary bubble where people for the longest your good guys will just make it through. Everybody's going to make it through.
Yeah.
You'll always go back. And then sometimes you don't get there in time.
It's rough. That's rough. I mean, that's why I think, one of the saddest deaths in Naruto is Asuma's.
Yeah.
It really is. Super sad. Again, Jiraiya's death to me, I don't know. It's like some people are like, oh, anticlimactic. I think he put up a good fight, but I think
it's amazing. He had without it and without knowing that that's what you needed to do in order to beat pain, then they don't beat pain.
That's so true.
He